Thank you for coming tonight. I'm Bruce Tomlinson, Executive Editor of the New Jersey Herald. We'll get to the debate in just a minute. We're a little bit delayed on some people because of an accident out on 15. Maybe highways will be part of our discussion tonight. But first things first, if you'll rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Who am I not? I'm not Phil Crabb. The format tonight is fairly open. There will be 2-minute openings by the candidates. The order is chosen by a flip of a coin that was done over here. Maybe some of you saw that exciting moment. This is going to be taped by the New Jersey Herald, and Service Electric will be available on replay on the New Jersey Herald, and we'll have times when it will be aired on Service Electric, and stay tuned to that channel, or we'll also have it in the New Jersey Herald. A couple housekeeping notes: if you have cell phones that are going to play raucous music during this, if you would silence those just for the courtesy of the candidates. There is refreshments back here. There's coffee and tea and some sort of soda. You're on your own as far as any food goes. My staff tells me the gravy cheesy fries are to die for. This is to my knowledge, the only real debate between the county's only contested office this season, between the incumbent Republican Phil Crabb and challenger Democrat Bill Waitman. It will be moderated by Bruce Scruton, who is our senior reporter and covers county government. We might not recognize him because he's not wearing his hat, but he did get a haircut because they're going to shoot the back of his head. There will be time limits to some of this, but as I said before, we're going to try to encourage exchange between the candidates. The purpose of this is to differentiate them. At the end of this, Mr. Scruton will give you details about the election day when the polls are open and when you can vote early and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So, did I miss anything? Staff? Okay, then we're off and running. Bill and Phil, if you'll come forward and take your podiums.
And good evening, gentlemen. At a flip of the coin, Bill won, but he deferred to Phil for the opening statement. You have 2 minutes. I'll keep time. I'll give you a signal when you have 30 seconds left, and please don't make me raise the red card.
Got it. Thank you, Bruce. I'd like to thank the New Jersey Herald for this opportunity to debate the issues. When I ran for my first term, I made it clear that success should be something that is easily measured. Some politicians would stand before you here tonight and say what they are going to do. As an elected official, it is incumbent upon me to ask you first to consider what already has been accomplished. We have continued to review ways to reduce spending in areas that defy the gravity of current economics. Over the last 6 years, we have reduced the county workforce by 30% while maintaining essential services. Spending has been reduced in the public safety, education, and operations sectors by over $1 million each. County government has become smaller than it was 10 years ago. Going forward, we need to continue to review what business that the county needs to be in on an ongoing basis and have the backbone to make the decisions accordingly. The sale of the county nursing home and other tough decisions has resulted in the stabilization of the tax rate and an upgrade in our credit rating. Over the last 6 years, in an era of banking and corporate failures, the county has had its credit rating raised 3 times in spite of curveballs like Hurricane Irene, which left 155 bridges damaged or destroyed. The difficult decisions we have made over the last 6 years are beginning to pay off. No one is saying that we have turned the corner, but the curve is bending. Now more than ever, we will continue to look over the horizon and plan strategically. Hard decisions over the last 6 years enable us to come in with a 0% tax increase even after the challenges of 300-year storms in 2 years. The advent of the centralized 911 system will provide a shared service that will benefit the entire county significantly. A plan for the revitalization of the county jail will be developed as a roadmap that future freeholder boards could follow. My name is Phil Crabb, and I'm proud to serve as your freeholder.
Bill?
My name is Bill Waitman, as we all know. We're in a county that we've seen our assets sold off one after another. I'm afraid I have friends today working at Sussex, in the borough of Sussex, trying to prevent aqua water coming in and possibly buying SCUMA, the county's water authority, or even going further and buying a reservoir in the other area. I've been looking at sales of assets and won bids. And most of you that own a home, and there are 62,000 housing units in Sussex County, would not go with one bid or two bids on a college project, would not call Horton Mansion a building that would likely fall. We've went ahead and we've spent over $3 million on that building, on that project, and in the town of Sussex, they're going to lose a water asset. I look at the county and the age range in this county of people that are the elders in the family, that run the family household, runs between 38.7 up to 56 in Walpack. Walpack's only 17 families, so I doubt that it has much of a problem on the age grade. We face many problems. We just talked about the college. The college is one of the issues. People are leaving the college. I sat in a meeting at Thor Labs a few years ago. I was there to help give a check, and Thor Labs, it came up in the meeting that the college exported an engineering program to County College of Morris because they felt the students couldn't read. I wouldn't have gotten rid of that program. There's so many issues that I want to cover. Transportation. I've created jobs. I've been on 7 nonprofits. I helped create a program called Arthur and Friends, which has won national recognition. My name is Bill Waitman, and on my sign it says open government and transparency and jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. The office of freeholder is the top elected office in the county of Sussex, as we all know. Mr. Crabb has said the role of a county freeholder is fairly well defined, and Mr. Waitman has said he believes freeholders should use their office as a bully pulpit, talking about other issues that affect county residents. Phil, tell us what you think the role of a freeholder is in today's society.
Well, the role of a freeholder is to conduct county business and to do everything that it can to keep taxes low. With regards to a bully puppet, I mean, we operate by home rule here. Certainly, I've been following the issues with Sussex, but it's a Sussex issue, and the good people of Sussex will be able to make up their own minds as to which direction that they go in. Frankly, if we were to stick our nose into things like Sussex's decision, why wouldn't we stick our nose into the Hapakong garbage issue that they had some years back? Why wouldn't we stick our nose into the various Vernon referenda that have happened? I see the issue in Sussex, but the outcome of that really has no effect one way or the other on county concerns, and that's why I've certainly not put my nose in from 5 rooms away.
Bill, your thoughts on the role in today's society?
First of all, I wouldn't be talking about closing library systems to remodel or rebuild a jail. That's really not that quite old. I would look for alternatives in imprisonment, and many of our kids that are nonviolent offenders could be released on either things on their legs or whatever. We've become a society geared to being a prison industry or a jail industry in Sussex County, and there's more going on than that. Our libraries are a focal center for the families. Many families are struggling in this county, as the Alice United Way study showed in every county, but particularly here. Libraries serve the function of providing job assistant, resume assistant for families that need videos at night and can't afford going to a store and using a credit card, who have lost their credit card. A library is a wonderful opening. You know, we create jails and we close libraries.
Bill?
Yes, I'm done.
Let's move on to another. Okay, go ahead.
Because the very next line that I didn't get to because of the 2-minute limit was that a review of the county library system would be in order to bring it into the 21st century. There's never been a discussion about closing down libraries. And consider how far that we've come, how much that we've dealt with, that I can now refer to the county library as the next big initiative. I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that, you know, according to Moody's, Sussex County has raised its credit ratings due to, and I quote, the ongoing discipline in in conservative fiscal policies and debt constraint.
Speaking of roles, the population of Sussex County is declining. Enrollment in our elementary and high schools is down by something like 20 to 25% over the last 4 or 5 years. What role can the freeholders play in stopping this and bringing more people into the county? Bill?
First of all, I think I would put more money into economic development, enlarge the role of economic development. Second, I would try to create jobs and upgrade wages. Statistics indicate in Sussex County that the average wage needed to run a house or pay off an apartment is about $24 an hour. Now, I'm talking about the fair market rental of an apartment, coming out of their own data. I've brought companies up here. I've gotten money for companies. I've benchmarked skills for companies. The jobs are the issue of why people are leaving. They can't afford to live here. They can't afford, if you look at the Freeholder area on their site, you'll notice that it says the commute is 37 miles out of the county, and it's an hour to New York. I met the one guy yesterday who can make the 1 hour commute to New York. He's a construction worker, a steel worker. He has to get up at 3 in the morning, and he comes home at 5 at night. He goes to bed at 10 o'clock, leaving him with an abnormal amount of sleep. Sussex County needs manufacturing jobs. They need green jobs. I had proposed a Digital Movie and Media Jobs Act that has been passed in Trenton to be used up here. We've given business incentives to companies like Walmart. They don't need them. Good companies need the money.
Bill?
I can tell you that I've commuted at least an hour for my whole professional career. How can you disagree that the county does need new things coming into it? The county took a lead in making sure that Thor Labs did not relocate outside of the state. The county, during the sewer mapping project, went to bat for these towns that were not getting a fair shake from the state, that were showing sewer service areas that were in highway medians.
Microphone working.
Yeah, just
Sorry.
get closer to it.
Okay, sorry. Sussex County sent a courier to the beaches of Delaware, to the beaches of Cape May, to find the director of the DEP, to have her sign a release that allowed the Ross's Corner development to go through. Mind you, that planning and their zoning happens at the municipal level. Again, with this being a home rule county, I mean, the county will do everything that it can, when asked to look at things. And, I said earlier, too, that I thought that we haven't turned the corner, but the curve is bending. Now we can start to look a little bit more strategically than the tactical stance that we've had to take for the last few years, and maybe we can look at reinvesting into things like the EDP.
Well, can you get out there and more publicly beat the drum for this economic development? Go down to Trenton, talk to the folks down there. Is there a more active role for the freeholders to take here?
Most certainly. And in any other county, there would be somebody going down to Trenton arguing for funds. You brought up a bright spot yesterday with the Andover transportation hookup. Once all that's completed, that'll provide a 133-mile commute into to Hoboken and to New York City. But we need more than that. Last year with the governor, I told the governor we need more infrastructure up here. He accused me of wanting a casino. But I talked to the governor. I said, we don't need casino. If you're going to promote agritourism and tourism up here, you need some kind of transportation up on the other side of the county to serve the 29,000 people in Vernon, the 5,500 in Hardiston, the 5,000 in Franklin, the people in Ogdensburg.
Bill, you want to add on that?
The millennials are moving out of Sussex County. They're moving out because they don't want to pay $4 per gallon gas, and they want to go down to where there is mass transportation. They've seen this coming for some time. The school systems have known and are now realizing the 25% across the board decline in student population. This is not something that's going to go away quickly, no matter what no matter what you do here. We've had 8,500 homes that are in some various stage of foreclosure. There's 850 empty homes. That's the stock market for the county. That's the revaluation. We've lost $3 billion in valuation in the last 3 years. What we need to do right now is to be pragmatic, is to raise the hurdle rate for the projects that we do allow to go forward, because we got to get past these times to get to better days.
That brings up an interesting question. How rural does Sussex County want to be, and who gets to decide that?
Well, we have 536 square miles in this county. We do need to retain our farms. One of the issues I was talking with somebody for a few minutes ago was, again, the purchase of open space preservation by a billionaire. And many of that land is not just forest land, it's being bought as farmland. We need to retain as much agriculture if we can. I looked at New York State. The dairy industry up there has 35,000 farms. We have 3,500 farms statewide in New Jersey. We need to provide acreage for things like dairy farming again. One yogurt factory, there's hundreds of yogurt factories in New York State. We need to have alternative manufacturing up here, clean manufacturing, not just green manufacturing, clean manufacturing. I've been hearing for almost a decade about Vision 2020. We're almost there, and I haven't seen any vision. All I've seen is the talk of modernizing a jail. That leads to, do we want to become the Attica of New Jersey? We need a variety of jobs that can make our citizens happy, wage-worthy, and maybe start that downward commute of 71% of our population out of the county. That doesn't necessarily leave at 3 in the morning and come back at 7 at night. Counties need more to go for.
Phil, you got caught in it tonight, the problems with very limited access in and out of the county. I think Bill got caught in it too. What more can be done so that people don't have to commute, or outsiders are commuting in to Sussex, like this Andover train station, that kind of thing? Phil?
Yeah, let me just first say that the billionaire on Sparta Stanhope Road that has the 1,000 acres, if you check with HPACON, there is no organization that's more community aware and more community participative than that organization. With regards to, we are taking a first step at Mass Transit by extending the former Lackawanna line to Andover. I think that's a great thing. I certainly, one who has taken the bus, who has driven to Harrison for the PATH train, I would absolutely take that train, and even if it was a 90-minute ride. This is a beginning, but I have to say that, it's nice to be blue sky, and I'm all for nobility here, but at the end of the day, freeholders have to sit down and deal with what they're working with on a daily basis. And, right now, it's pragmatic to simply cut spending until we get past this time. Certainly, we're going to pursue opportunities as they come up, but that's our primary responsibility.
Speaking of starting new programs, and the County 911 Center has now got 10 customers. It'll be ready to go active on January 1st. Bill, do you see a point where all the towns in the county might become part of it?
I think that our priorities should go in a different direction. That used to be a detention center, and across the street, Littell gave a group of us money to start a youth shelter, which the county misran. And I was at board meetings with 2 of the people that took the hits on that. No, I think our priorities are all wrong. We're talking about remodernization of a jail when our own governor talks to former Governor McGreevey about how to deal with drug issues. I'd rather explore how to deal with them. We have a 45% problem with heroin, according to county statistics, while the rest of the state is at 40%. That's a major difference. We need to start looking at some of our things instead of outsourcing our assets. I don't know if a 911 center is useful. When a detention center was closed, we send our kids out to another county. We're still paying for them. By the way, if you look at Morris County and Sussex County, guess which county has a 0 increase in taxes? It's Morris County. If you look at the tax rate on the county certificate for all the municipalities, and if you know anything about statistics, I know Harry Dunleavy back there does, you almost have a linear correlation of 1.0 on tax increases over 2013 to 2014 in Sussex County. Yes, many of them are minor. If you know statistics, you can look at that table, and Harry will tell you how to calculate the statistic. Our priorities seem to go in the wrong way.
My friend is throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping that something sticks. With regards to the JDC, Juvenile Detention Center, we had an average population of 2 to 3 prisoners. We had 31 head count watching them. That didn't make sense. That's why we went into a shared service with Morris County. We guaranteed 2 beds down there, and we don't have 31 head count watching prisoners that were not there. Also, too, we've engaged in the bracelet program where we can keep a lot of these offenders home in school rather than sitting in a jail cell twiddling their thumbs. We're saving $1 million per year recurring on going into that shared service with Morris County. With regards to the 911 center, that's going to be, without a doubt, the most significant shared service that's hit the county perhaps ever. Every community can benefit by it. We're not forcing anyone. We had to build it anyway. We were able to build it with grants. Now that we have it, why wouldn't we offer it to others? Why wouldn't we try to decrease the footprint of government? It works in almost any other county in any other state that you go to, and it's something that we're really looking forward to.
The county jail has been under study for well over a year, and they ended up going back to the people doing the study and saying, hey, things have changed a little bit. We lost a lot of population in the jail. Average population has gone down. Come back and look at it again. That study's going to be out in another week or so. Let's start with Bill. What do you think should be done with the jail, and have you even seen the study yet?
I would modernize the facilities to have a true social work experience where people can get trained in some kind of vocational education. Let me go back to a statement. I've been to the Juvenile Detention Center many times.
We're talking the jail now.
Well, that's wrong. Population is dropping. Many of the offenders should not be in jail. Yes, he's right to use the bracelets and the other thing, but incarceration amounts to 20,000, 30,000 a year. It's time to find alternatives. On election day, there's a bail bill coming up for a proposal, which would keep long-time people that are waiting their sentences a long time. It would give them a way, but Parker Spaces probably knows more about this than I do. I think that's a start. That we look at the bail project and find alternatives rather than jailing. I mean, we've offshored every program for kids up here. I think we've come to a point where we should stop increasing jails. We only rebuilt that jail, in the last 20 years? It's changed that much? It's now out of date? I've been to the jails in every county. Not arrested, but I've been to the jails in every county.
I think Bill should visit his own jail to really realize what's happening there. The place has been crumbling. There's been infrastructural issues. I can tell you that when we first went out for the study, the average population of the jail was 212 inmates. When we did a study, we found out that over 80% of the inmates that were in there were there awaiting trial, some with bail as little as $15. Of course, when they are incarcerated, the Lake County assumes not only the cost for meals, but also the cost for medical, too. You can go to if you are in jail, you can request an abortion by demand. This is something that's impossible to budget for. So what we did was we got everybody in the same room, prosecutor, sheriff, public defender, judges, and we said, look, how can we move these cases these cases through. That was about this time last year. I can tell you now that the average jail population is just over 150. It's a significant change. We are also using the bracelet program there, too, for those that don't need to be incarcerated. It's a huge success. The fact that we've changed the paradigm of what the average population is going to have a huge effect on the plan that's coming out. And mind you, this is a plan. It is a plan that we hope that future freeholder boards can follow. It brings the jail into a safer place, not only for the prisoners, but for the guards as well.
Let me comment. First of all, if we handled our bidding on the jails and the construction, maybe the problem with the crumbling wouldn't have happened in 20 years. There's too many one bids. I can't wait to see what happens up in the college, because that went through. That bid went through when first of all, some of the members of that board should have went to jail or should be indicted. We tend to have one bids in every town or in this county, more so than any other county I know. I've been in every jail in the county. I've done a jail in the state. I've done projects in state government and for the federal government with jails. I've been in Warren, Sussex, Bergen, all the way down to the bottom of the state in Salem and Cumberland County. There's no need to expand and add more room. We need to start looking for alternatives to jail. We need to follow the governor, Governor McGreevey, and the others that have plans, including looking at that bail project.
We don't plan to add rooms, and we plan to find alternative ways that we have been doing with the bracelet program.
Then you don't need to put any more money into the jail.
And this kind of, we absolutely do need to put more money into that jail. I suggest that you tour it today. I can tell you, too, that this kind of migrated to the single bid. I can tell you that if you think that the county is a typical single bid county, then you got to come around more often. You got to come around to our own to our own purchasing agent and find out how the bids at the county go. There was a single bid at the college. I'm sure that we can talk about that later. But with regards to the jail, it absolutely is overdue for a review. And if you check with our purchasing agent, you're going to see that as far as single bid, that just doesn't happen. Or very, very rarely.
We touched on a little bit of social issues with the jail. There's a couple of more important social issues that affect those that are not in the jail, and that's the heroin epidemic. It's most of the country, but we're looking here in Sussex County. What role should the Freeholder Board be taking? Is there more money available for more help? Is it publicity?
We distribute money to every drug alliance that's in the county of Sussex. Certainly, we've had a neighbor on my own street that succumbed to the temptations of heroin. Back when I was in school, heroin was something that 1% did, like one of the dark alleys. Now it's become the drug of choice. We're doing what we can. Social services is funded for drug abuse at many levels. Do you know that we found out that the average age for students in Sussex County to begin taking drugs of some sort, the average age was the 6th grade. It was astonishing. So what we do is we have the grants to every municipal alliance. Through social services, we have education programs. We have the sheriff go out to every single school and make presentations on drug abuse there.
Bill, anything from you?
Well, we live in a county where, when they last conducted their needs analysis, drug addiction was 45% compared to the state average, and 450% up from 2009 to 2010 in domestic abuse and child abuse. That's nothing to smile about, but that can have a correlation with drug abuse, too. I happen to be the advocate for the 24th Legislative District for the legislature and for the governor's office on drug issues with the New Jersey Council of Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. I've testified before the Assembly, before some of Parker's friends. I testified with Gary Gisano when he was there. We have to, start to get to the source. What causes drug issues? Why are children up here taking drugs? Maybe one reason is that their parents are struggling to make an income and they're working out of county and they're not getting home in time. What about when they do get caught with drugs? What kind of sentencing should we do? Well, we should look for alternative sentences, not to put a stigma on people. I used to try to place people in jobs that did drug abuse we'll say from 18 to 55 or 60. Matter of fact, Gary Gisano and myself lost a friend to heroin at age 52, one of our mutual friends. We need to get to the source. We need to find alternative sentences, and when people do get arrested for drug abuse, we need to try to find ways not to stigmatize them. There's a bill in the Assembly now, which I don't know if it came out of committee, maybe Parker could nod, that if somebody follows the drug court and succeeds the drug court and remains clean for a period of time, he gets expungement in his or her sentencing. That's something to push. That's where you use the bully pulpit, to make sure that these people, mostly kids, have a second chance. Drugs are easy to buy. You can buy heroin on the streets of Patterson and Newark for $10 a bag or less, maybe 3 bags for $10 at times.
I'd like to, we're already doing that. I mean, those who would get incarcerated down at the juvenile detention center, they're not drug users. I would say 99%, if not 100% of our drug abuse case for juveniles are part of the bracelet program. What that does is it allows them to remain home, in their home. It allows them to get counseling. It allows them to go to school, to get themselves reset. Frankly, for anything that's related to heroin use or to any other drug use, they're all on the bracelet system.
You touched on this briefly, that the county has been giving grants to social service agencies, and it's kind of a discretionary program, but because of the recession and what has happened over the last 5 or 6 years, that number or the amount of money has gone down. In some places, like Catholic Charities, was forced to close their adult care center, which, from the stories that I did about it, was very well received and very popular and needed. Is it time now to start putting more money back into those grants to those social service agencies?
Yeah, I would say yes.
And you're a member of the 2015 board budget committee if you get reelected, right?
Yes, and I want to say that there was no one that appreciated the adult daycare center more than my family. It brought relief to my mom from my dad that had dementia set on very quickly. They were absolutely wonderful. In 2009, the county was $6 million short of making the 2% cap. There were difficult decisions that had to be made, and we made them. Rather than eliminating funding, we cut every social service down by the same percentage. There's a group that decides how that money's distributed. It's not a political method. There is a committee made up of citizens who determines how to distribute the amount of money that the freeholders are able to put up.
Bill?
Well, I think part of the problem is there's not enough money, and yes, it should be. The budget is $80 plus million. If you look on the website about the Freeholder agenda, or even the Schoomer agenda, you find no reports half the time given on anything. It is a closed backdoor system, as former Republican candidate Bassani noted. I've found that mental illness needs money, needs funding. There's no shelters for males in Sussex County. They wind up in either some bed bug-ridden place. I don't want to name the place because it's related. It's a county favorite. We need to do more and be better. Across the board, hunger, poverty. Poverty's way up here beyond reason compared to some other counties. People in the street, people sleeping behind the ShopRite down the road or up the road here. That's a problem. Some of those people are veterans. That's a major problem for me. I had a friend a couple of years ago, I had to have him arrested because he was sleeping in the woods in a car. The only problem is the police got him in Franklin. They did a good job, Freeholder director, but the hospital released him. 15 minutes and he walked back to his car and went back in the woods in a storm. There's no place for some of these people to go, and that's draconian. We need to do more and better.
I got to tell you, though, Bruce, that when you've got economic challenges like we've had, like perhaps no freeholder board has had over the last, like, 4 years. You have to make difficult decisions. They're not going to be popular, but it's incumbent on your job as freeholder to make these decisions on behalf of the benefit of Sussex County. We cut $1 million from public safety. That's a political lightning rod. We cut $1 million from the college. That's a political lightning rod. We cut $1 million from the vocational school. That was a political lightning rod. These decisions are not made, at least by this board or these boards that I have served on, based on political preservation. They are based on what needed to be done at the time in the face of what economic gravity that there was.
Well, you mentioned that the fact that you've cut, you've mentioned the fact that there's been layoffs, about a third of the workforce has been laid off.
No, I said that a third rate reduction in workforce, yes.
Right. And those are people who hopefully got other jobs, but probably didn't.
Well, that's not
What's
true.
left?
That's not true. Do you want Bill to go first? Or?
Let's start with you.
80%. We saved 31 headcount at the JDC. When we had that $6 million gap, it forced us to take a hard look at every position in the county. Nothing was left off the table. It ultimately ended up with the sale of the homestead that we couldn't afford the $62,000 a week loss. There was about 100 employees there. 80% stayed to work for the new company. So there has been layoffs. But you know what? Again, too, I don't have the luxury to stand back and say, you know, I feel bad. I do, but these decisions still have to be made.
When it comes to being a freeholder, you have to take a greater look than he just announced. First of all, the sale of the homestead was to a Filipino company engaged or accused of being engaged in slavery in New York City. The problem was a senator named Schumer stopped the investigation. It had its maintenance records, according to one former Republican freeholder councilman in this county, were inflated to show that the homestead was not operating. I don't have proof of that. But what I do know is it was 60% below Medicare standings, that company. That should have come out in the open. The freeholder director says, what's wrong with another one-star nursing home? Come on. Nobody preaches that philosophy. When you rate on a system like a Facebook or in a survey, you want a high-level nursing home coming in to replace the one that you lost. There were people of both political persuasions that were upset about that sale of the nursing home. $8 million. For what did we get? Another day deeper in debt. You know, when it comes to brick and mortar buildings, this county cannot refuse to buy or build. When it comes to people's needs, look in the street. That's your answer. You don't have to read Victor Hugo to know what the phrase is. You see it here when the winter comes. This county takes a low view on people in need.
I think, Bill, rather than slinging mud, you should go and visit the homestead today. This afternoon, I tweeted a picture of Linda Klein Conklin. She was the spokesperson that was in the wheelchair for the residents during the Save the Homestead. It's a picture of her with my sign, with my political sign on her wheelchair. Why? Because she says things are better than ever there. And the reason why things are better than ever is they have a company that can afford to invest. I'd like to ask Bill, losing $62,000 a week, and we already took $1 million from public safety, from social services, from the college. There's no more million dollar buckets left, and we couldn't simply pass it on to the taxpayers because of the 2% gap. Where would you suggest, what corner of county government would you take the money from?
I would have looked for a better choice. I would have not picked that company in the first place. It had lousy ratings on Medicare ratings, and so many. It's not just me. The Sussex blog of conservative Republicans nails you every day. Bassani didn't raise a cent after the debate, and his issue was on backroom deals.
Things are better than ever at the homestead from Linda Klein Conklin, who was the spokesperson for the residents during the Save the Homestead.
Right. Phil, you mentioned earlier about the library being the next big thing. as big as or as small as the library may be, what do you envision as happening with the library system and the tax rate, which is separate on everybody's tax bill?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And, rather than talking about $6 million gaps, all the tough decisions that we've made to this point, it's nice to be able to say that the library system may be the next big topic. I don't want to spend any more money on a white elephant building that has difficult retaining heat, that we had to close twice during the last winter. I would rather try to think outside of the box and perhaps collaborate with the college and perhaps move the main branch of the library onto the college lot, right by the corner there, by the light. You could have synergy, with the bookstore that's at the college. It makes it more accessible, and it would be the first step in bringing the library back into the 21st century. We want to look at things like storefront libraries. Most of our checkouts are no longer books. They're various media. We need to find a way to best leverage that. And that's why I think that we need to take a hard look at that and come up with some creative ways.
Well, from Phil's own town, if the library were located at the college, it would be 18-plus miles. That's a little bit of a hurdle to go for your nearby library.
My town has a library branch in it.
That's right, but you're talking about going to other models that you just said. Look, the libraries need to be spread around. As a kid up in Sussex County, I used to have a van come into my little rural community and bring books. And now we have fine libraries. I told the paper yesterday that I spent time at the McAfee and the Franklin Library. The library is not only for storefronts, but the library helps people find jobs, resumes. The Department of Labor comes in and talks about training, and sometimes guest speakers come into the library from Bergen County that have exquisite skills. We don't need to move the libraries. We need a better transportation system. If you're going to go that route, you'd have to expend the Skylands Freedom, and some of the other things to be more in line with the needs of the county. Many people in this county have cars, but many don't. Gasoline is expensive. Yet it's, by the way, he brought up gasoline. It's $2.82 in this county. It's over $3 in the other counties below. Let's take advantage of the gas, but let's stay home and find our local libraries operating a little later. I went to a library in a town in Bergen County. I've spent 50 years in Sussex County, and I've spent 50 years in Bergen County in one way or the other. Our library was open to 9 o'clock every night, and it did everything. The Hackensack Library provided useful business information. And libraries also are a hangout for the homeless sometimes. But we need our libraries more available. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more with Bill.
We got an agreement.
With regards to the library. I'm pleased as punch that we're not standing here today debating cuts or debating other things, but that we're talking about the library system. That's how far that this county's come.
Bill, you've talked about the county government needs more transparency. The government has won several awards over the last 3 or 4, even 5 years from national associations for its transparency, for the amount of information that's available on the website. What more do you want to see?
To tell you the truth, I didn't see much information on the website. I looked at SCUMA, and no reports given was the most common thing to see on the August 20th meeting. And I looked at the Freeholder agenda. I'd like to see more than one bid. We talked about the college numerous times. If that college...
What are we talking about?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're talking
What does transparency have to do with more than one bid?
It has a lot to do with more than one bid, because if you hire a president at a college, you're supposed to do a search around the country. Here we only took one bid, essentially one bid, and you had people in violation. And some of them were, one of them was a former freeholder in office. Transparency means that you see everything going on. He just said a while back that there were 2 people at the juvenile center. I've been there. I've been there when Lombardo taught there, and I think I was there when Harry Dunleavy taught there. I never saw 2 people and 21 guards. And he's shaking his hand in the back. That is a bald-faced lie. That's not a transparency.
You know what? I'm not up here Frankly, what we're both going for here, Bill, is not something that at least this freeholder would like stand up and lie for. I suggest that you research that rather than just relying on Mr. Dunleavy. I can tell you this, that out of a county of our size, across the country, we ranked first in openness on the website. With regards to Bill not finding things on there, we are meticulous to put the meeting minutes on there. We are meticulous to add the executive session minutes, and we don't wait a year for it. They go up. We are meticulous with publishing the bid packets. We are meticulous with showing who the bidders were and what they bid. The one performance opportunity that we have there, and we are working on, is to publish the compensation for every county employee. And as far as being open, that doesn't make sense.
Let me just say this. The most common thing that you see when you look on the agenda on
And I'm
the
not a
site
liar,
is closed session. I've been in those meetings. I represented two people that...
Wait a minute. Closed session for who? The freeholder?
Closed executive session for the freeholders.
We
I very rarely see...
executive sessions.
I've been
Very
there.
rarely.
I've been there.
So I've been in the room.
Okay, I tend, I'm not agreeing with Phil, but I agree with Phil. I cover those meetings, and it's maybe once every three
When you
or four
check
months.
the website
I mean,
and see what you report
forget-
difference.
Let's move on a little bit here. Over the next couple of years, the top 5 managers in the county government are due to retire. Not to say that they will retire, but they will have reached all the qualifications to allow them to retire. Phil, what's being done to keep that level of expertise there when these folks do in fact leave?
Yeah, anticipating that, we've had many discussions and many internal reports with regards to succession. 5 out of my 6 senior-most leaders will probably either leave or retire in the next 3-year term. There's a bit of hypocrisy that I'm running for a 3rd term when we limit the college to 2 terms. The reason why I am is because I want to be part of that process to determine who's going to fill in. Since we've got 5 out of 6 of our most senior leadership potentially leaving, I want to be part of the process to perhaps look at and reorganize the county framework. We've got 5 divisions now. It doesn't make sense to put it to 3 and the efficiencies that would come along with that. That's something that we're looking at. We know that all the big issues that we're going to have next year, some of which have been talked about tonight, we can't ignore the fact that probably by the end of the year, we will already be searching for replacements. That process has to start 6 months before. We're all looking at, we've been meeting there for some time to try to determine what the best method to do this is. I can tell you that with all the momentum that we've had over the last few years, I want to make sure that I'm part of a process that goes in a direction that doesn't waste all that effort.
Bill, any thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I realize that many of the freeholders have great experience in their backgrounds, but we're not growing the philosopher kings of Plato here. Anybody can run for office and learn the job. You start out as a kid, you go to college, you get a job.
We're talking about paid employees, not the elected
Are you
ones.
talking about the SCUMA board?
No, I am talking about people like Bernie Ray, the treasurer, John Eskelson, the administrator, Herb Yardley, the health commissioner, Those level of employees.
Well, it's difficult. Jack Eccleston is a great administrator, but nobody cannot be replaced, ever. There's always somebody out there. You do the search. You look for the qualifications. You look in and out of Sussex County. You use the Philadelphia Inquirer if you want, or the paper down in Philly. Use the Times. Use your local papers here. You find somebody around the country. That's the way you look. See if somebody wants to locate up here. You have in Newton, you have a man is down in Bedminster running, and has an office down there. He's not a county official, but there are people. Jack Eccleston was a town administrator. He was my administrator in Hardiston. People at all levels can be replaced. There's got to be continuity.
I concur.
Okay. Since you both concur on that, let me ask this question. Is there something that you would like to ask the other candidate? And I'll limit this to like 2 minutes, but Phil, go ahead. Take your best shot.
Is what I asked before. I mean, I'm all for nobility, I'm all for blue sky, but it's we that have our feet on the ground and have to make the pragmatic decision. So I'll ask Bill one more time. With the Sussex County Homestead losing $62,000 a week, and you can't simply pass that on to the taxpayer with a 2% cap, what corner of the county budget would you have taken that from?
Well, first of all, if I had to do the search, I wouldn't have picked that particular company.
No, what corner of county government would you have taken the amount of money needed to sustain the
Well, what
homestead?
county, what quarter? You took it out of everybody's budget. You brought a nursing home that had a bad record into a county that shouldn't have been here in the first place. There was no reason for them to get that bid.
When we owned the nursing home, what corner of the county would you have taken
I would
the
have
funds
looked at,
from
I would
to
have looked
sustain
at
it?
reducing the maintenance cost, which I've been told was inflated, to show that the nursing home was not functioning right. I think we should take a look at that.
Okay, so what corner of the county would you have taken the money from for the maintenance costs? That's the same dilemma
Okay.
we have.
All right, Bill, he got you on that one. You get him on one.
Why was the project at Sussex County Community College okayed when at least 4 members of that board should have probably been indicted? I mean, they hired a law firm. There's where your $54,000 went there coming out of the college to hire a law firm that said they were innocent. Sounds like another political figure using state money to declare his innocence. Why? Why was that budget okay?
That's a very good question. I could take the excuse that the statute says that we must pass that money, but I'm not going to do that. For myself, it was important to me to separate the process from the project. There were clumsy stumbles in the process. I remember quoting to the newspaper that before I come out with pitchforks, I want to wait till all the information's in, and I'm sure that that trustee board, which had hit the ground running prior to this project, could work it out for themselves. I think they did. We had 2 resignations. We've had a reorganization of the leadership there. But when you take those votes out, there was still a significant plurality that wanted this project to go through. My concern is 2 things. The taxpayers and the students. I did not want to roll the dice with taxpayer money in the case that those bids came in at $4 million, and there was an absolute chance that they could have. Secondly, the students needed that building. They have been dispersed over to so many different locations, including the Performance Arts Building and including the fire school. They need that building done. If it was delayed again, they probably wouldn't have it for 2 years. There were clumsy moves here, but I don't think that there was a big conspiracy over this building, and I'm glad that they're moving forward and they're going to repair the building. I also suggested to Judge Parker that they get together, and I think that they did some of this in yesterday's meeting, and to get a list of all the issues that are out there. I had lunch with Dan Perez, a great guy, and say, look, rather than doing these things piecemeal, get the whole list, check them off. When you're all done and you have the things resolved, crumple up the paper, and then you can refocus on things that are not simply internal issues.
Okay, let's move on to one of, and it's backed by popular demand. I got 5 questions here. They will require a yes or no answer. So, Bill, you get the first one, then you get the answer, Phil, and then vice versa. Number 1, freeholder meetings are currently held at 5 p.m. Should the meetings be held later in the day?
Yes.
They don't need to be.
That's not quite a no, but is that a no?
No, with a good explanation.
No, we can't go there. Phil, although it is tax exempt, should Sussex County make an in lieu tax payment to the town of Newton?
No.
Yes.
Great explanation.
Yes or no? There's letters to the editor are accepted, yes. After election. Number 3 for Bill. Should the Freeholder Board videotape its meetings for replay to the public?
I didn't understand that.
Should the Freeholder Board videotape its meetings for replay to the public?
Yes.
Yes.
Question 4. Question 2 on Tuesday's ballot creates a constitutional amendment to use business franchise tax as a permanent funding source for purchase of open space. Do you support question 2?
Yes.
Yes, with explanation.
No, it's too late for that. Now you get a softball question, okay? I'm going to just toss this one up very nicely. No curveball here. Would you support using county funds in some manner to bring professional baseball back to Sussex County?
Yes.
Tough question.
Now, yes or no?
At the end of the day,
Yes or no?
yes.
Okay. Gentlemen, grab a thing of water. You're going to be getting 1 minute for your closing statement. And see, Bill, you're going to be going first. Same thing as before. I'll give you a 30-second, and then 1 minute is up. Go ahead.
You know, years ago, I read a phrase by Charles de Gaulle. He was the head of France. Politics is too serious a business to be left to politicians. He uttered that in 1968 before the student rebellion that threw him out of office. It's time that we bring civics back to politics. I've traveled around this county and found numerous issues in every town. I've hit every town from Montague all the way out to the end of the county. People are unhappy. They want change. I'm not here to restore the Democratic Party. I'm here to be a candidate for change, a voice for reason. Somebody that says no, not all the times, but never is a yes man. I'm not a Me Too Democrat and I'm not a Me Too Republican. I'm here to vote on issues that count most of people. I don't like seeing people sleeping in the streets. That wouldn't happen in any other place that I've lived. I don't like it that women who are breadwinners don't have paid sick leave like they have in 3 other counties. And I'm done. Pretty much that's it. You get a vote for change. You're not going to get somebody
That's it?
Oh, I thought you told me I had another half minute. I was cheating on you.
Got to watch the fingers.
I can't.
Ready?
We have many challenges ahead. Better days are coming, but none of us are acting under the false presumption that we are already there. There will be many difficult decision points along the way, and those decisions will be driven by what is best for Sussex County. It will not be easy, but I promise you that while I'm in office, my deliberations will not be driven by political vanity, political ambition, nor by political preservation, but rather by what really matters at the end of the day, the Sussex County taxpayer. It's been an honor to serve as freeholder. I will ask you that you once again partner with me and my colleagues as we make the difficult decisions required to change the paradigm of county government. It is important for us to continue to apply these core conservative principles, to stay the course, to continue to effectively recalibrate the way that we do business. God bless this county, and God bless all of you who would come here on its behalf.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. One thing that I would like to do is remind everybody, get out and vote on Tuesday. If you want to vote early, you can go down to the county clerk's office anytime during regular business hours, pick up your write-in ballot. You can then fill it out there, drop it in the box, take it home, come back to the clerk's office at some other time, drop it in the box. They will be open 8 to 4 weekdays. Saturday, 9 a.m. till noon. Monday, they will be closing the voting at 3 p.m. However, if you still have your write-in ballot and haven't used it, you can drop it off at the Board of Elections on Tuesday up until 8 p.m. Board of Elections in clerk's office are at the Cochran House on Spring Street. And with that, I say good night to everybody, and thank you for coming.